Howdy, folks. Galen Clavio and Jared Morris back with you once again. We're starting our evening session a little bit early, Jared, for two reasons. One, we have a great interview with IU football's Jalen Lucas and Matt Bedford coming up. It wasn't on the original schedule, but we really wanted to make sure that a lot of people got a chance to see this. So that's going to be starting here in a couple of minutes. But we wanted to give you all an update on what we have as far as donation totals and as far as some of the great people that have decided to donate to the Day of Giving here for Hoosiers Connect. Jared, what are the numbers looking like?
Galen, we are at $437,730. Those are pre-match dollars. And you have pledged that you will not go to sleep tonight until we get to 500,000. So if everybody wants Galen to get sleep,
we got to get to. I've been up since 6:30, getting ready, doing this, producing, whatever. We want 500K and we want 500 donors. Right now we're at 437,730. As Jared said, we're at 462 individual donors, which both of those numbers are awesome. We're really, really juiced about how generous Hoosier Nation has been all day, and matching the generosity of the anonymous donor who is matching everything up to $1 million. It's tremendous.
It is. And I'm very much enjoying, as the night goes on, we're getting a lot more comments with the donations as they come in and some unique number totals. I think you gave that suggestion earlier. Hey, $2,613 if you're a Calvert Chaney fan. Lots of numbers you can pick. A very meaningful one here from our friend Megan Mahaffey, who donated $194 in honor of the 1940 team on behalf of the not pictured Bill Torfey. Our thanks to the athletes who bring so many of us joy. Go Hoosiers. So that's wonderful. We just had another anonymous donation come in for $1,000. That one looks like it's earmarked for IU men's soccer.
That's right. Yep. We've had several other donations as well here. Doug Harper donating $100. Thank you, Doug. Eric Wiggins, $100. Mark Sparber, Go Hoosiers 24 Sports One Team. Brian Gaines, in honor of the memory of Coach Bob Knight. Shannon Griffith, former football parent during the Kevin Wilson tenure, donating. Aaron Eisberg, $50. He loves IU hoops and wanted to note that. Nicholas Deuce earlier on, John T. Morris, who had a great little quote here, which I'm going to read later as well. But it says, Coach Knight used to say you have to have the will to prepare to win. This is where it starts. Might need to adjust it to you need the NIL and the will to prepare to win.
That is awesome.
That is absolutely the era we're in right now, and it's awesome. We also had a comment on the YouTube channel here from Tyler Asher, who donated earlier. His hat and polo have already shipped, as he said. Well-oiled machine. Tyler, thanks for letting us know. And certainly thank you for donating earlier. We appreciate it.
Yeah, and I got to give a hat tip to our Assembly Call community member, Andrew Kinley, who laid down the gauntlet and said it would be cool for 100% of community members to donate something. So I posted that on our Substack. We've got some more recurring donations coming in. I see Pam and a whole bunch of our other community members in there, which is awesome.
Tony donated. I know.
IU Film Room in the house. Exactly. And I do want to take this opportunity to underscore the importance of the recurring donation.
Yes.
You certainly don't have to. You can make a one-time donation. But for any type of, fundraising organization, and for an organization like Hoosiers Connect that obviously is trying to figure out on an annual basis, okay, how much are we going to have? What are we going to allocate? Being able to count on recurring donations as kind of a foundation for what will be coming in is really, really helpful. And so if you can set one of those up, and the nice thing is, they have some different membership packages and you get perks. I'll talk about one of the perks that I won a little bit later from being a recurring donor. But it really helps them. And, it also helps all of us as fans, who are forgetful and may forget to go click the button again next year. Set it up now, and you always have that donation coming, whatever obviously is, reasonable for your budget and what you have going on. But setting those recurring donations up can really, really be helpful.
It really does. And, it's one of those things, again, just to reiterate, we've had some huge donations today, but we've also had some very small donations, but they all count. They all matter. And, even if you're just going to donate $5, that's $5. That's actually, it's $10, not $5, because it's matched 100%. But it matters. It all goes to this larger NIL collective amount that goes to IU athletes and keeps IU at the forefront of the NIL game. And that is so important moving forward. And so we're going to keep monitoring this. We're up to 438 $400,380. We're creeping towards 500K. We're creeping towards Galen actually getting some sleep tonight.
Just don't do the 500 before this is over, because we need Galen to be here participating and producing, and he may just go to sleep once we hit the number.
The moment we click over 500K, just say goodnight. We are going to go ahead and go to our interview with Matthew Bedford and Jalen Lucas. Kylie Corman and Mason Williams, two of our esteemed student reporters here on the IU campus, sat down with both of these gentlemen and got a chance to talk with them about their NIL opportunities, their journeys here to Bloomington, and what has made this whole situation special for them. Let's go ahead and check that out here as we hear from Matthew Bedford and Jalen Lucas.
What's up, guys? I'm Kylie Corman, joined by Mason Williams, and today, as part of the In for Indiana initiative, we spoke to Indiana football's Jalen Lucas and Matthew Bedford about NIL.
I think you guys are going to really enjoy this conversation. I know Kylie and I did, so without further ado, we'll get right into it.
NIL has changed college sports. How has it affected you guys?
It affected me a lot, just being able to just contribute to the fans and just using your name, image, and likeness. I'm pretty sure a lot of your fans like that, and it just make our impact of the game way more better.
Yeah, it's been able to help me be able to be more connected with the community, the Hoosiers, be able to give them what they want. A lot of people have been, needing to use my name and image for jerseys and things like that they've been wanting to make. So it's been good to see them be able to make those things and be able to support me in the way they want to.
Matt, you've been on campus for a little bit now, and when you first came to Indiana, NIL wasn't a thing. So how have you kind of seen that evolve? And then Jalen, you've kind of been in school the entire NIL era. So Matt, I'll start with you. How have you seen NIL evolve, what you've done on campus?
Yeah, it's been huge. At first it was kind of just, you come in here to get your education and play ball, and now it's something that you'll be able to help your family with financially and things like that, and be able to get your hand in the community, an easier avenue for you to be able to get your hand in the community and be able to help people, whether it be helping homeless or doing coat drives, to be able to give back to community. It's been really good for all of us on the team.
Jalen, did that play any sort of factor in kind of choosing Indiana, being able to really connect with the community here in Bloomington?
It's been a huge factor, just having the opportunity. I had one event, the Boys and Girls Club, just seeing how I can contribute to the young generation in many types of ways, and just how they look up to me, and they're real true fans, and just always being there for them when times are hard, and them not always having something to do. I think I play a big, huge factor to that, but it played a part tremendously.
Did you guys expect this new, it's in 2-3 years
2 years
now?
at least,
but
right.
Did you guys expect that to be a part of your college experience?
Absolutely not, from my point of view.
I'm shocked this even happened.
One of those things where it's you can't really understand it until you're fully in it, correct?
Yeah, I'm not complaining at all.
Honestly.
Did you guys think, even when the law was passed, did you think that it would affect you as much as it has?
I could say from my point of view, when it first came across the TV, guys knew it was going to be a big thing, especially with the NCAA and all of that coming out, the game. The guys were definitely anticipating seeing their names on video games and T-shirts and all those things. It was a big deal coming out.
Is that something that maybe growing up you would kind of make your own likeness on a game to kind of follow your own college career?
Everybody wanted to create a player on Madden, when it came out that you're going to actually have that opportunity to have yourself on the game, it's just something really getting a lot of excitement about.
Did you always play O-line on the game, or were you a different position? Where'd we line up?
There, wide out. Had a couple of creative players, but yeah.
Quarterback?
Nah, I didn't make no quarterback.
Jalen, what about you? You play a skill position. Did you always create yourself, or did you make yourself any different in any ways?
I always created myself, I had to have a 99 overall. So, just being a dynamic player.
Yeah.
Specifically, given the kind of the way the landscape has changed, what what's kind of been the most lasting impact on it for each of you so far? You guys really have got a chance to kind of connect with the community in different ways that, like you said, you weren't really anticipating before. But what kind of is the most memorable aspect of that?
Well, I would say from my point of view, I'm working with Stop the Violence Indianapolis, and one of the events I was able to be a part of took place down in downtown Indianapolis at the park. Just seeing kids come out and just providing a positive environment for them to have fun and all that, and it warmed my heart a lot. I think that, but in totality, with NIL being a factor for us, I mean, it gave us so much. It gave us ownership of our own name and our image, and instead of just representing Indiana, we're representing ourselves and representing our families. So it was a huge impact.
What about you, Jalen?
Just like I said, I emphasize the Boys and Girls Club. That really played a huge part to that. I just always loved being there for kids. I can remember myself being in their shoes. Just always wanted to have fun and just being around a positive atmosphere, and just being there for them just makes me so excited.
Yeah.
A lot of people think that NIL is just under the table, getting checks, especially at like the bigger schools. What are some of the other things you guys mentioned, the Stop the Violence and the Boys and Girls Club? What else have you guys done?
Yeah, I also worked with Red Cross, bringing awareness to the work that they do to help people that are in emergency situations all across the country on an everyday basis. How the donations help their situation and everything. Just giving me an opportunity to bring awareness to companies and environments that help in all aspects.
And not just that, just having the opportunity to post like these little ads of like kids dealing with like brain cancer type of deals like that. Just spreading awareness and just being able to post like just a simple link, just any donation that help them, and like.
I think Bloomington always gets a really good reputation as being kind of a college town. It's centered around, the campus and everything about it, but it also, in the athletic sense, you guys are essentially like the town's pro team. So getting to be able to connect with fans and have that kind of access directly to the community and to the people that fill Memorial Stadium and support you guys on the road. What's that like for you guys?
Man, it's huge. You always want to be able to, give back to those people that are giving their money, their time, their effort to come and support you on the biggest stage, and not the biggest stage, but a big stage in college football. It's huge. Those people care so much about us and have invested so much into this university, into this team, and to us. So, you just always want to take every opportunity, that you can to give back to them.
Jalen?
He basically stated it all.
When you come from Louisiana, is that something that then getting to kind of acclimate yourself in a whole new place here in Bloomington, getting to kind of understand and get to know the people that support you guys, what does that do for you?
It does a lot. Just getting to meet new people, just coming across like business people, just learning how to manage your product in different types of ways. I think the NIL has brought a huge advantage to the college atmosphere here, and just it's a lot that it brings to the table.
Kind of bouncing off Mason's question, none of you guys are from Indiana. Have you gotten to do anything NIL-wise back in your hometown?
You go first.
Nah, not yet, but like I would love to come across any type of NIL deal back at home. I look towards I wish it had a Popeyes down here. That'd probably be huge. It's Louisiana founded, so that'd probably be a great thing here.
Popeye's your favorite chicken place?
Yeah. I haven't really had any opportunities back in Memphis, but I've been able to raise awareness of a couple of situations. They put me in the paper back home, for the things that I've been able to do up here. So, I'd definitely like to see those opportunities arise, if possible, to be able to get back into my community, my specific community in Memphis.
But this still being Bloomington, you guys have made it a second home. Just kind of immersing yourself in really the cityscape and kind of the community of Bloomington. NIL's helped out a lot, I'm assuming, right?
Yep. Hoosiers, we got to be in the Hoosiers Nation, Yeah.
I think a lot of people's perception of NIL is that it was going to kind of take away some of the tradition and the elements of the college game that they've really latched onto for so long. What's kind of been your perception of that? Has NIL taken away any of that, or has it enhanced it? Because I feel like we get kind of a conversation where there's like it seems very polar opposite. It's like it's either helped the game or hurt. How do you guys feel it's done either way?
Well, So I would say that it amplified things. It drew the fans actually closer to us, so that we can amplify our traditions and everything, and get it on a bigger scale. Involving the fans into our jerseys and to our pre-game situations where they have the ability to be a part of the things that are normally isolated specifically to us because we're involved in NIL, our name, image, and likeness and things, and they'll be able to rep their favorite players and do all those things. So what do you think?
Just like fans just having the opportunity to just, like you said, just buy our jerseys and things like that. Just having the opportunity to also interact with us, see what type of player we is, like off the field. But I haven't done nothing but like just be who you are. Like money might come in the picture, but like you just got to be who you are.
What kind of feeling does it give to see jerseys with your name and your numbers on it up in the stands Memorial?
Took my question.
That just brings a smile to our face. Like, dang, man. See a little kid out there with your jersey on. Like, man, that's crazy. Like, you'll never expect for that to happen. Like, you being a college athlete and just having somebody wear your jersey, like you normally gotta wait on that till you get to like the league or something like that.
Yeah, it's definitely something you kind of reflect on after the game. You come into the locker room after a kid just asks you for, an autograph or to look at your or a towel, or you see him wearing your number or something like that, and somebody like me that's offensive lineman, that's kind of rare. So you definitely appreciate it, and you just kind of it gives you an extra bump, when you're going onto the field. Like, hey, I'm playing for somebody that's wearing my jersey right now, and I'm representing Hoosier Nation, and they got my family's name on their back too. So you just kind of want to play a little bit harder for them.
Do you guys think it increases your visibility in the community when you're out at a store or out at the restaurant or something? People come up to you, they recognize who you are now because you've got so many opportunities to be immersed in the community.
Absolutely.
Kind of a tricky question, I guess. So playing at Indiana in the Big Ten East, you're facing, aside from the conference realignment stuff, but you're facing the Michigans, the Ohio State, the Penn States every year. Do you see NIL having a negative impact in that space where some of those schools have a more established football program, more prominent donors per se? Do you think that's an issue?
I wouldn't say it'd be an issue. I see it out of anything. I think it helps us because it's drawing more eyes and drawing more attention to us. While we're performing against these teams, and all these every time we play them, majority of the time it's a battle against the next. So it just draws them to us.
You just say it's making the Big Ten more big. I know it's bigger, but it's making it more valuable. It's drawing more attention.
Not only is it getting bigger across the country, but it's becoming a bigger deal for you guys, correct? And getting to play in a Power 5 conference, getting to play in the Big Ten at Indiana, what has that experience been like for you guys, and kind of how have you guys both really capitalized off of that?
The experience been tremendously great. I love the Big Ten, just some big trash mouth football, but I just love being a part of Indiana, and it's a great atmosphere here, and I just love to go and play, man.
Yeah, I mean it's both of us, true freshman guys, coming in from our small towns, coming in and playing on such a big stage. The Big Ten is SEC and Big Ten, quite honestly, in terms of how hard football can be. And being able to come out there and excel in our positions, it's been huge. Being in those environments, going and playing in the Horseshoe and playing the Happy Valley in front of all those people, and on the biggest stage on TV and Fox and ABC and all those things. So it's huge.
Jalen, you're a little bit of a different player than the conference typically sees. Do you take some pride in that, especially having what I think a lot of people would describe as like Southern speed? Do you take a little bit of pride in that as well?
Yeah, I take a lot of pride in that. A lot of people think the Big Ten known for like bigger people, but shit, I'm small. I know I'm small fraction, but it is what it is. I just got to deal with it. But I like where I'm at right now.
Matt, asking about Jalen, I think a lot of his teammates refer to him as the most dangerous man in the world with the football. Is that the case still?
Don't nobody kick it to him when you get the ball. You get that ball in his head, he'll find a way to make you pay for it every time. I like my dog in any situation, I promise you.
Getting the block for him too. That's a big bonus for you, right?
I make a hole for him. You always gonna find somewhere to go.
Kind of going back to what you were saying about you both came from small towns and now you're in the Big Ten. What would you guys say to your younger selves?
Stay diligent, stay focused.
Stay focused, man. Keep your eyes on the prize.
Absolutely.
That's all you got to say. Keep your eyes on the prize.
There's a reason we're here. Those guys did a lot of groundwork for us to be here, especially when the eyes weren't on us. So, we just got to stay diligent in those things.
Right.
I apologize if this is too introspective, but what's kind of the biggest motivating factor for you guys? What's your why each day?
My why each day, my family, each and every day. Like, I talk to them every day, and, like, I just know, like, if I don't get the job done, they ain't going to be happy at me. So I just emphasize, like, I'm doing this for my family each and every day.
Yeah. My dad, he made a way for my family in a lot of situations. And, as I'm growing and maturing as a man and, I'm engaged now and I have a fiance and we're looking to start a family, not soon, but eventually. And so, that's definitely a major factor in the way that I work. And, I know that someday I'm going to have to provide for, little Bedfords running around and my fiance and my family. So, that's a big factor for me. That's my why.
The NIL, obviously you mentioned Jalen a little bit. The money does come into the picture a little bit. What has that been able to afford you guys? You guys both talked glowingly about your families there. What kind of impact has that had on not only you guys, but your family back home as well?
Yeah.
I'm coming from a small town. I know I ain't always had the things that, like, I ain't grow up with the things that, it was hard times. Like, times be hard. So, like, just having the opportunity just to help them financially, that played a huge part. That's basically it.
Yeah. On my end, I help give my family the financial freedom to do the things that we need to do for our family to help us progress. Instead of focusing on me, when I first got here in college, I wasn't making any bread through football. There was no NIL, just our stipends, and they were still paying for books and things like that. But now that with NIL being a factor, I'm able to, be able to take care of my body, invest in myself, buy the things that I need to do to keep my body in pristine condition so I can perform. So that's helped a lot.
Go ahead.
How difficult was that before NIL?
Oh, it was really hard. You had to outsource for a lot of things, and before NIL, it was like just making partnerships. Like, hey, I'm helping with this company on certain weekends to access their maybe their cryo chambers or those things that help your body rejuvenate, and really working in-house with our training staff, getting our bodies right, and those guys finding every which way to help us, progress throughout the season as we get later into the season when your body's getting tired.
You mentioned it's got some current impacts. It's been able to rectify some things that you weren't able to have in the past, but also, Matt, you've got a future to plan for. Jalen, you're still a young guy. You've got a lot ahead of you. Where does NIL take you forward? What kind of impact does it project forward for you guys?
Yeah, for me, it just kind of gives me helps me, navigate my future. Everything's kind of blurry still, so it's just kind of giving me a little bit of freedom, a little bit of peace to understand that that I'm going to be able to, be comfortable wherever I'm going to be or whatever I'm doing, so.
I can say also put you ahead of the game, learning how to just manage when you're still young, just, man, it's gonna come with life and just having the benefits to meet newer people and just meeting the business people. Just
It allows you to make connections with the community, correct? And then also you're learning things like financial safety, all that kind of stuff. So it's got a positive impact for both of you, correct?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Get y'all ready for when you head to the league.
Big boy life, yeah.
That'll do it for us here from Memorial Stadium. Thank you so much for watching.
And if you want to contribute to Jalen or Matt or any of the other Indiana athletes, head to inforindiana.com.
Okay, and we just threw the graphic up there. We're going to pull it back down again. That was great. Thank you to all of the folks that were involved in that. Thank you so much to Kylie and Mason for doing the interview, and thanks so much to Matthew Bedford and Jalen Lucas for taking the time to talk with us. That was just awesome all the way around. We're going to bring Austin Render back in, and we're going to bring our first big guest of the evening in here as I think she just popped into the green room, or whatever goes for a green room here within the world of StreamYard. We've got IU women's basketball head coach Terry Moren joining us. Coach Moren, how you doing? It's great to see you. Thanks for joining us this evening. And Terry may be having some trouble with her audio here, so let's see if we can work this out. Austin, you're here. How you doing?
Here. Hi.
Austin's audio is definitely working. We're trying to get Coach Moren's audio working here. Coach, can you hear us at all?
Not yet.
Okay, we're going to try to pull her off stage and then try to get her back on again and see if that works. The joys of live broadcasting, as it were, as all of us know. Let's see. Any thoughts, gentlemen, while we get things started here?
Well, we can update the current total if we want to.
Go ahead,
because
Jared.
we are now up to $440,180 raised, which is excellent. I thought that conversation with Matthew Bedford and Jalen Lucas was just tremendous. And we absolutely have to get an animated GIF made of that time where they're like hugging each other, and that was that was awesome. But no, 440,000. Several more. We've got a $20 donation, 10, 100, 25. So it's great to see these donations again of all different amounts. They're all matched up to $1 million. So keep those rolling in.
We're going to try this again and see if she can hear us now. Coach Moren, can you hear us? We're still struggling with that. We're going to figure this out. We're going to actually go to a full screen graphic here for a second, folks. We'll be right back as we get our tech issues figured out. Thanks for your patience. We'll be right back.
I can hear you.
Coach, all right, we got it fixed. Let's score one for tech support. Tech support being me, I guess. Coach Terry Moren joining us here on the show. Coach, thanks for sticking with us through the technical difficulties there.
Not a problem. Thanks for having me. Good to see you.
Absolutely. Good to see you as well. We got your buddy Austin Render joining us here on the show, and Jared Morris.
You get sick of me here pretty soon. We got to be careful.
Coach, let's go ahead and just kind of get things started. I mean, obviously today, NIL Day of Giving, and this is obviously a much different environment than most of us who've grown up with college athletics have known, but it's such a huge part of the college landscape right now. As a coach, what are you seeing out of all of this, and kind of, how important is it right now within the landscape of women's college basketball?
Well, I mean, it's absolutely crazy, how what it started off to look like, and now what it's like. I mean, right as of today, and I don't know that any of us kind of knew where it was going to go. But it has impacted recruiting without question. And that's where we have seen, we knew that it was going to probably hit men's football and basketball pretty hard in terms of, the name, image, and all that, but the money now that is, being distributed, and the way these kids are benefiting, from the money is, something that's just foreign to me. Just growing up and being a college athlete myself, I thought just, the getting my schooling paid for was a big deal. And, on top of all the other, or I should say, in addition to all the other great, perks that they get already. And look, I get it. It has changed the landscape. Whether or not we like it or not, this is what it is. And we have to be creative and continue to raise money. And that money is certainly going to go for all of our student athletes. And they are going to, the reality is these kids are going to pick a school. It used to be for education and perhaps the style of play, whether you're a football player or a basketball player or whatever. And there's a whole nother element to this, or I should say layer, is now it's going to come down to, and what else can you provide me in terms of the NIL, deal.
Coach, you've really built this program in an old school image that Indiana fans love. Hard work, togetherness, toughness, fundamentals, and especially unselfishness. And I'm really curious, how do you blend kind of those old school ideas with these new school realities of college sports that are often very athlete centered, like NIL? Yeah. How do you kind of balance that as a coach?
I think it's really hard. And I think it really does come down to recruiting and, making sure that, if kids are thinking about coming and being a part of our program, that first and foremost, they have to understand that nobody, including myself, is bigger than this program. And yes, there's going to be opportunities to, have opportunities and deals and make money. But that can't be the number one reason why you choose to come and be a part of our program. I want student athletes that, are going to buy into the team, and the we factor over the me factor. And so I'm still in search of finding, and I know that they're out there. And like I said, I think Indiana, we can provide opportunities, but I'm still looking for those kids out there that want to be a part of a team and realize that the only way we've built this thing is through our hard work, being unselfish, being about each other. And I want to keep that as part of, and then the character piece as well. I want good kids inside of our program that are coachable and have a passion for wanting to get better. That's and I am old school, but that won't change in terms of the kids that we continue to recruit. But as I mentioned, there's a whole nother layer to this now, and it's it comes down to NIL and opportunities and money.
Yeah. Your players are all in their late teens and early 20s. And that's often an age when young people are still kind of figuring out who they are as people, let alone athletes. What do you think is the key for someone at that age, with the attention they get at a program like IU and the importance of things like social media, to stay grounded and not lose touch with who they are, even as they try to build a brand and a public persona?
I think it's hard. There's just some really, really good things about social media, and then there's some really ugly things about social media. I think we can all agree with that. But I worry about our women all the time. I get it. They want to build their brand. And I'm all in all support of that. As I remind them, though, we all have to understand this. If we're going to put ourselves out there, then with that is either going to come some people that may not have glowing things to say, right, in regards to the person, all right? And that's what I worry about, that our kids, I can't protect them. Mom and dad, we can't protect them when they put themselves out there for other people, whether it's men or women, to take shots at them, to be negative towards them. Those are the things that I worry about, with our players and social media. And I do think that they all realize that, once they put themselves out there, that's going to be part of it. Still, it's hurtful at times. It can be hurtful at times. But, I just want them to represent not just themselves, but, they know that they represent something bigger than themselves also, and that's their family. And that's Indiana, and that's Indiana women's basketball. And I always remind them and tell them that, there's certain things that I think that are, should be posted. And if you think your mom and dad might look at it, and maybe Coach Moren, and shake their head, you probably shouldn't post it. So, we kind of have fun with it, but I do worry about, and just not with NIL, guys, it's with, we compete, we play, we win games, we lose games. People take shots at us all the time, and that's part of it. We signed up for that, but, I'm not going to lie and tell you that some of those things aren't hurtful. And, that's the biggest thing that I worry about, is our kids listening to some of that bad noise and it affecting them in a not positive way.
Coach, we've talked a lot today throughout our many shows about kind of the year that it has been for women's sports at IU, with you guys winning the Big Ten title, softball going to the NCAA tournament now here in the fall, women's soccer and volleyball really taking a big step forward. What's it been like to be a part of that movement at IU? All these women's sports really starting not only to get better on the court and on the field, but that the fan support is really starting to come around as well.
Yeah. Austin, it's great. I have to, and again, I've been asked by, Steve and Erwin to come and speak to their teams, which has been a great thing for me to be able to do that. Because, I do think that, sometimes people need evidence, right? When they haven't been able to, get their programs or they're building their program. And, I think Steve and Erwin asked me to come in because I think we're evidence in women's basketball that, we can build something here at Indiana. We can build something very special here at Indiana inside of all of our programs. And, it's been great to watch. It's been great to support. I know that all of those coaches have worked tirelessly, so hard. And it's hard to win. It's so hard to win. And it's, it's fun building, but it's a hard chore as well. And it's great that, they're seeing their work is paying off. And as I kept telling Steve, you could see it. And even Erwin, you could see it, in the last couple of years when, I would go watch them. It just looked different. And it might not have been the wins, but it was looking different. And, it's great to see both of those programs have such a great fall.
Coach, one of the great things about NIL is the opportunities it's given the players to interact with fans, the opportunities it's given them to work with great charitable causes. I'm curious if there's a moment or a story or an anecdote that sticks out to you when you were especially proud of something that, one of your players did, or the way that you saw them, handle an interaction or an NIL opportunity that they had.
Jared, here's what I'm going to tell you about our players. I'm always proud of all of them because they represent us in such a first-class manner. Anybody that has an opportunity to meet any of our players instantly, and I see it all the time in recruiting when we have families, that are coming to campus to look at our program. Heck, when I travel with them, our trip out west, which wasn't good, but the people that compliment them, from the way they behave on the plane to the way they act in a restaurant, to how kind they are, how they're just a good group of people. And so I'm always proud of them because I get more compliments on the way that they give of themselves, how kind they are, how they make everybody feel comfortable when they're in their presence. And so, whatever opportunities they have, whoever is reaching out to them, for them to represent or do anything, for their organization. I know that our kids are handling themselves, like I said, they're so impressive as young people, and they really, and that's part of their character. I mean, they are really good kids, and I'm always proud of them, and I know that whether they're really doing well with NIL, whether they're just doing okay, no matter what they're going to do, they're going to give it everything they got. I know that about them, but they're going to represent whoever it is in the best possible ways as well.
Well, Coach, we sincerely appreciate you taking the time to talk with us this evening, and we appreciate your support on this day of giving as we try to get more resources to help support our student athletes here at IU. So you have a great night. Best of luck the rest of the season.
You guys. Yeah.
Thanks, Coach.
Thank you.
Thanks. Have a good one. Head coach Terry Moren of Indiana women's basketball joining us here, and we're going to jump right in to the next phase of things. We've got Sydney Parrish joining us. We just got her on screen. I'm going to squish to the quad box here. Here we go. This is better. I think we got Mackenzie on as well. Let me see if she's ready. Looks like she's ready as well. Mackenzie Holmes, Sydney Parrish joining us. Ladies, thank you for taking the time out of your evening. It's been a big day so far. And first of all, hi. How are you both doing?
Doing good. How are you?
Great.
I'm doing
Galen,
well.
what are we up to now?
I was going to give updates. We got some numerical updates here that we wanted to get across. So our latest number, I'm going to hit the refresh button here, $443,115 in donations. And you got to double that, which means we're at about $886,000 towards Indiana NIL. There you go. Yeah.
That's awesome.
Give a round of applause. Couple of recent donations that we wanted to shout out. Karen Ritter, thank you so much. $50 donation. Cole Rollader, $100. Aaron Williams, thank you so much. Caroline Walters, Chris Learcamp, Greg Bauhoff, Jay Scott Hendricks, Patrick White, Lori Eltzroth, and Doug Harper. We love you folks. The generosity is staggering. We're at 491 unique donors throughout the course of the day. That is amazing. Sid, let's start with you. I mean, this is when we talked about a day of giving, when we talk about NIL, the idea that you would get, this many donations, this amount, these number of people wanting to give towards IU athletes and name, image, and likeness funds. I mean, you've been probably as engaged in this space as anybody over the course of the last couple of years. I mean, when you hear those numbers and you see this happening here at IU, what do you think?
The first thing I really think is, not a lot of schools are doing it like this. And there's not a lot of people that are donating like they are to Indiana and to these student athletes. And it's really, really special. And it's really cool to be the front of it and just being able to see it happen. Like you're just rattling off names and numbers and donations. And it's just really special to be a part of it. And that, it shows that people care about us as student athletes and care about the university and want to help, any way they possibly can.
Mackenzie, I'll ask you the same question as, just overall, as we look at all of these donations coming in and you see kind of this outpouring for just IU athletes in general, what are your thoughts?
I mean, I think it just shows how special Hoosier Nation is as a whole. I've talked about this a little bit before. When we get these donations, it means that these fans, these people believe in us as athletes. And I think that means everything to us to know that our fans care so much about us that they're willing to take money out of their pockets, out of their accounts, and put it towards NIL and put it towards something that is rapidly changing the game of college athletics. And I think, it's one of those things I don't think it's going away anytime soon. I think it's just going to continue to grow. So the fact that people are able to recognize that and buy in kind of show that Indiana's really just ahead of the game.
So, Mackenzie, while we've got you here, I couldn't decide today what I wanted to wear for the interview. Thought about maybe my Mackenzie Holmes autographed jersey, which I won as part of being a Hoosiers Connect recurring donor for their raffle. But it's a medium, and we want to encourage people to donate, not scare them away. So I wasn't going to do that. So instead, I chose my Mackenzie Holmes home field apparel shirt, all of which you get a cut of. I would certainly hope.
Yes.
And what's cool is, I wear this shirt around the neighborhood, and I get to explain to people, why I'm wearing a Mackenzie Holmes shirt. I get to explain to my daughter how proud I am of the women's basketball team when she's asking, why am I wearing this shirt? And it struck me that, these aren't things that we really could do before with athletes. And so I'm curious how you've seen that connection change, because it was obviously much different when you came in to now, where fans do have a chance to relate to players in this way.
Yeah, I mean, seeing people wear shirts, jerseys with my name and number on it is one of the coolest things I think I've experienced as an athlete, because it's just special when I see people coming to our games with their Mac Attack shirts or Mackenzie Holmes shirts, even Sydney Parrish shirts, Sarah Scalia shirts, Chloe Moore McNeil merch. Around campus I'm seeing people with Chloe's sweatshirt on, and I think it's just incredible to see that if we're able to put those things out there, that people are going to invest in them. And the fact that we get the opportunity to do that now is very special.
Sid, there's no hiding that you are a huge Swiftie. I think that's public knowledge at this point.
Right.
And through NIL, I believe you got to go to a Taylor Swift concert. Talk a little bit about that experience.
Yeah, it was very, fast. I didn't know about it until about 24 hours before the concert was. And it was just really special. York Automotive was so gracious to send me and a friend, which I actually chose Mackenzie to come with me. So we got to go to Cincinnati, and we honestly just had the time of our life. I think it honestly made me and Mackenzie closer as teammates and friends off the court. But we have like a memory that honestly is going to last a lifetime between me and Mac, and just in general. I mean, it's really hard to go to those places like these big concerts. So that was a really cool experience. And I think the coolest part about it was when we were there, we were on the floor, and there were, I don't know if people know, at Taylor Swift concerts, you like share friendship bracelets with each other. And we were just walking to our seats, and there were these little girls that yelled Mackenzie's name and wanted to give her friendship bracelets. And it was really special to see that there are people not just in Indiana, but in Ohio and other states who know who Mackenzie is and know Indiana women's basketball. And I thought that was a really special moment to share as well.
I'd love to get actually both of your perspectives on a question that I asked to Coach Moren, which is, and Sydney, we can start with you. How do you keep it all in perspective? There's a lot of athletes that, they want to shut down social media during the season, and yet it's a very valuable part of what you do for NIL. So how are you able to maintain that, but keep it in perspective so it doesn't affect you, on the court or even just, personally?
Yeah, social media is just very powerful in general, whether that can positively impact you or negatively. I think there's a lot of balance that needs to happen. I think just growing up in sports and growing up in social media, you kind of learn how to have that balance. I had a coach always tell me when I was younger, just make sure you're not posting on game day, and that's kind of always something that stuck with me personally. I'm just like, okay, let's just not, if I want to post, just don't do it type of thing. Like, let's stay locked in, just show, those little things. And I think you just kind of grow up learning different tactics and things not to look at, things you want to look at. But there is a positive and negative that always come with it. And I think it's just, learning how to balance it.
Mackenzie, how about you?
Yeah, going off of what Sid said, I think another important thing is partnering with brands and people that understand what it means to be a college athlete. I think Hoosiers Connect and Hoosiers for Good are two great examples of that, because they will never make us or require us to do something on a game day before a game day. They really try to adjust to our schedules. They understand how busy we are. So if we have an in-person appearance, most of mine have been in the summer when we aren't as heavily training, heavily practicing, or on an off day, just different ways to try to make it so we don't have to worry about getting our social media posts, getting our in-person appearances during the season, and we can really just focus on the season. So I think it just is a matter of who you decide to partner up with and their understanding of what it means to be a college athlete.
Yeah, Sydney, you and I were on a television program a couple of weeks ago, and this came up in terms of the amount of time you have to spend on being not just the person that's doing your day-to-day activities, but also the person that is doing all of the posting on social media, that is, fostering these deals with places like Sweet Green, where you have a deal. And can you talk to the audience a little bit about how you balance all of these things and how much time you have to spend to fully maximize the opportunities that you've gotten?
Yeah, it's a really hard balance being a student athlete and now piling on top of that the NIL aspect. But I think the people around me, my coaches, my teammates, my friends and family have done a really good job helping me out in a way where I can spend my off days, going to get rehab, going to do the things I need to do in the gym, go to class, but then also have that time set aside where I can respond to emails, take pictures that I need to for NIL, go to my appearances that I need to on those days. And I think that's a really hard balance that student athletes have, either figured out or haven't figured out right now. But it's something, like Mackenzie said, NIL isn't going away. So just knowing these student athletes that are freshmen or coming into college, just trying to understand that there is going to be that balance that you're going to have to face at some point. And it can get really overwhelming. But, it's just a matter of trying to figure out when to take the pictures, when to make your appearances, and try not to have it affect your student life or your athlete life.
We talked with Coach earlier about kind of just the growth of women's sports, and specifically with women's basketball in Bloomington. Not only is the crowd growing, but I think the crowd age is getting a lot younger. There's a lot of young girls who are coming to these games and staying after, wanting autographs from you guys and pictures. What does that mean to you to get that opportunity to kind of see the crowd grow in the younger population, but also get to interact with those fans?
Yeah, it's really cool for us because, me and Mackenzie both grew up playing basketball at a young age, and we looked up to a lot of the college players around Maine, around Indiana. And, that's us now. And I think we need to sometimes take a step back and realize that even if, I come out of a game that I don't score very well, I'm poor defensively, that there's always those little girls that want to take pictures of you and, have their autograph, and they have your jerseys and shirts on. And it's really puts things into perspective because those little girls don't remember how many points you scored that night. They just remember, getting to meet Mackenzie Holmes and Sydney Parrish. And I think that's really, really cool and special that coach gives us the time after games also to be able to interact with the fans.
Yeah. Mackenzie sorry, go ahead.
Go ahead.
No, I was going to, ask if there's a story or an anecdote from an NIL event, that you've been a part of that really stands out, as being special for what it meant to you.
I think early in the year we had the Hoosier Fan Fest event with the Hoosier Hysterics, and I know men's and women's basketball both signed autographs for before the event started, and that was kind of eye-opening to me because we had people who were so excited to get our autographs, and there was a girl who was coming to me crying because she just met Sydney Parrish. Like, I think it just kind of makes me realize the platform that we have and how special that is and the influence that we have. So it also makes you very aware that how you present yourself, the people that you partner with for NIL, it all has to be stuff that you want to represent because you have all these eyes on you. So you want to represent brands that align with your beliefs, align with the things that you want to be involved in. I think that's another really important perspective. But I'd say the Hoosiers Fan Fest, I know there was some drama surrounding it, but overall, I thought it was a great experience. We got to meet fans, interact with fans, and I think it was exciting to see that some of them were more excited to meet us than maybe some of the men's players, which typically doesn't happen. So I think that was cool.
That's awesome.
Sydney? I think the one more that stood out to me is we have an honorary teammate on our team. Her name's Peyton, and she has a rare autoimmune disease. And I think it's either monthly or every other month she has to get infusions, just to help her, live at this point. And I think first whenever she would go into the hospital to get her infusions, she would wear Mackenzie's merch that says Mackenzie Holmes. And her mom would put it on social media and say, Peyton's wearing Mackenzie's shirt because she's a fighter and Mackenzie's a fighter. And a couple months later, she's wearing my t-shirt that says Sydney Parrish, and, thinking of Sydney during our transfusion today or infusion today. And I just think it's really special. And I think those little things, it's just showing how we can make an impact on them when these people and kids are fighting for their lives, and they're wearing our merch. It's really special, and I'm so thankful that Peyton is a part of our team, and we can spend every moment we can with her.
Kind of widening the lens out a little bit beyond just the basic NIL topic. You've both been around now for two of the most critical years of IU women's basketball history in terms of the growth of the program, the growth of the fan base, and just the number of people that come to Assembly Hall now to watch you both play and your teammates play. I mean, what has that experience been like for both of you? Watching this build up, I'll start with Mackenzie on this, like watching this build up of interest, watching this build up of passion among IU fans around IU women's basketball and around your team specifically.
Yeah. I mean, even when I was a freshman here, I still believe that we had great fans at our games. We had still really good attendance in perspective for women's basketball. I think my freshman year, we still got better attendance than a lot of other Big Ten schools do currently. So it's just, I don't think I've ever could have dreamed of when I was a freshman, just to see the growth of the fans. And like you said, younger people in the stands. We have more students coming to our games. We have people coming to our games consistently and buying season tickets, which is incredible. The fact that, before we would open the doors 90 minutes before the game and people would just pour in and sit wherever they wanted. And now we're now at the point where we have to create those assigned seats. And all of that has just been amazing. But, our fans are just so special, and we can't do what we do without them. To be completely honest, there are times they've willed us to victories, and they know the momentum. They know the point of the game where we need to stop or we need to score. And I think it just makes Hoosier Nation so special, is just their understanding of the game and how it just gives us so much momentum.
Yeah, and to go off of that, I used to come to games when I was really young. I was recruited by Coach Moren and her staff as young as when I was in 8th grade, and I would come on recruiting visits, and there was maybe 1,000 people in the stands. Like, there wasn't many fans, and I decided to go out west for my first 2 years of college. But when I entered the transfer portal, I think one of the biggest things was just how much Mackenzie and Grace and Brenna Wise and Allie Patberg, they grew the fan base. They're the ones that were the base of what IU women's basketball fans are. And I think that really stood out to me. And just to know that I'm going to walk into Assembly Hall every night with almost the whole first bowl filled, I think that really was a big reason why I decided to come back home and play with Indiana across my chest.
Go ahead, Galen.
Go ahead, Austin, please.
I was just gonna say, I mean, we've heard a lot about all the Mackenzie Holmes and the Sydney Parrish merch that's being worn. I think in a couple weeks it's going to be a record for Mackenzie Holmes merch worn when you guys go to Maine. Mackenzie, how excited are you for a return home to see all those 54 jerseys?
I can't put into words how excited I am, just because I know that back home, obviously everyone back home supports me, but they've really fallen in love with Indiana women's basketball. They ask me when I go home about how Grace Berger's doing, how Sydney is, how Chloe is, what's it like having Allie as a coach now. Like, they're very in tune with our team and our program. So it's not just me they're excited to see. They're excited to see everybody. And I think it's going to be really special. The court we're playing on is where I would play every single one of my high school tournament games. It's 20 minutes from my house. So it's just going to be so special to be that close to home and be able to play in front of the people that have never gotten the chance to see me play in an Indiana jersey.
Sid, I think you told me you were with Mac when that news came out, and she was pretty excited.
Yeah, I remember it was like 7 a.m. after our lift in the morning in the summer, and I look over and Mackenzie's bawling, crying. And usually I know when Mackenzie's upset. And I've never seen her cry like this. And I'm like, are you okay? And she looks up and she's like, we're going to Maine. And I'm like, what do you mean we're going to Maine? And she's like, they scheduled a game for me to go back home and play in Maine. And just like to see the excitement from Mackenzie and to see like, you know, how much passion she has towards her home state and being able to go back and play there. It made me really excited for her, and just, you know, seeing her face light up every time someone mentions the game. You know, it's definitely something special that I'm excited to see all the 54 jerseys in the crowd, because I know Mackenzie's dad was talking about this past weekend, just all the tickets that are sold, and it's just gonna be, you know, an Indiana home game for us in Maine.
We've asked this question to pretty much everybody that we've talked to, from Trey and Xavier all the way through Cam and Ramsey and everybody else. If you had a dream NIL deal, like, you know, any company, any product? Sydney, you can't say the Eras tour here.
Okay.
But if you had a dream NIL deal, just whatever would match your brand, your personality, whatever it is, what would you choose? Let's start with Mackenzie, because I can see her brain's kind of going in overtime.
Oh, my wheels are turning. I don't know. I'm thinking more logically. Like, I feel like I would choose Starbucks just because, I mean, I go there almost every day, so it would save me a lot of money. I'm very passionate about Starbucks. There's Starbucks everywhere.
What's the go-to order then?
Vanilla sweet cream cold brew.
That's it.
Or I'll get an iced green tea sometimes if I'm feeling crazy. But no, honestly, I don't know. There's a lot of, I mean, obviously there's Adidas. That would be super cool. Things like that. But those are the first two that came to mind.
Sid?
You know, I was trying to think logically too. I would have to say I go to Starbucks every single morning. A lot of people know that about me. And I also go to Chick-fil-A breakfast almost every single morning. So I would have to say either Starbucks or Chick-fil-A.
You could pair them up.
I was going to say, somehow we got to get those two together. That feels, yeah, that's, you know,
like I make a little road trip. I go Starbucks, right to Chick-fil-A, right to class. So,
yeah, well, they used to have like, you know, Taco Bell and like Dairy Queen in the same restaurant.
Right.
We need both of those in the same one. Absolutely.
Yeah.
That also, we got to get you guys, you know, a little more off the commerce path here. We need something a little more crazy from both of you. No.
Well, what if they don't think logically? What if they go illogically?
Yeah.
Dream, maybe like Lululemon.
There you go.
There we go. Yeah.
Like, that'd be pretty cool. You know, supporting Lululemon stuff. You know, a lot of people sign with the Adidas's, the New Balance, Nike, Lululemon.
This reminds me of when like LA Gear was doing basketball apparel, like back in the early 90s. Like, why? I think it was like Keds tried to get into the game at one point. It's like, guys, maybe not this time. One thing I did want to ask both of you, I mean, you know, we talk a lot about individual branding and things like that, but there's a level of not just personal expression, but as we talked about with Cameron and Ramsey earlier today, there's a level of female athlete empowerment that comes with NIL, because as most of the audience knows, I mean, historically, women's athletics just hasn't been covered anywhere near as much as men's athletics has. And while that balance has kind of changed a little bit for the better, there's still a pretty big imbalance. But for a female athlete, particularly a very successful one, to be able to establish a brand, to be able to have a lot of marketing and commercial power as someone that, you know, people between the ages of 15 and 30 are following on social media, since that's where people of that age are getting their information. They're not reading newspapers. They're not watching television. They're on Instagram. They're on TikTok. So they're seeing your videos or they're seeing your stories. I mean, what does that mean for both of you, you know, especially now that you've kind of established yourselves a bit, to be able to fully express yourselves, be able to fully establish your own kind of market power and be more authentically yourselves in an environment that's been historically dominated by talk about male athletes?
Yeah, I think that, you know, it's being able to, whoever I'm working with, being able to use my platform on social media to kind of represent that has given me some confidence in a way, because it's shown me different ways that I can use my platform and be confident in myself, because in a way I'm almost marketing for these people. So I want to put out the best content possible. I want to have people buy into Hoosiers for Good, Hoosiers Connect, even things like Sweet Green. Like, you want people, when I post for Sweet Green, I want people to want to eat there too. So I think it's just given me an understanding of how important my platform is and how I want to use it. And though it's been a, male dominated type of thing, I think that, it continues as there's more female content creators out there, especially in athletics. It's given, Sydney does the Get Ready With Me videos, and I'm sure that videos like that are only really done on the women's side. So I think it's just things like that we're able to use our platform and be creative in other ways.
Yeah, going off of what Mackenzie said, I think we're just really lucky to be able to have the platforms that we do here at IU. And I think that comes with being from such a good program. We're a top 25 team in the country, and people are watching our videos because we're good people and we're doing good on the court. And I think that taking that to social media just gives us a bigger platform where we can express ourselves and show what we love to do. Whether that is go eat at Sweet Green, or that is posting stuff about Hoosiers for Good and Hoosiers Connect. And, we had a boat day with Hoosiers Connect with the men's team. And I think that really showed, our personality and our relationship that we have with the men's team. And it was just super fun to be able to do that kind of stuff. But a lot of people are looking at the women's side of things now. There's a lot of, when you look at NIL, a lot of people think the top NIL people off the top of their head, and they're all women. And they're all really like female athletes that play basketball on the women's basketball side. And I think that is really special as well. And I think we need to notice that. Like, a lot of the NIL stuff is going to women's college basketball. And Mackenzie and I are just so grateful to be able to be, at this point in NIL where we have the opportunities that we do.
Well, it's a really fascinating time all the way around in this environment. And we are just so grateful to have both of you as part of the IU family, as part of the IU women's basketball team. And, the way that you've used your platforms has been really inspirational. And it's, I think, one of the reasons why we've had so much outpouring of support throughout the course of the day. So thank you both for all that you've done for IU athletics and specifically for IU women's basketball.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, before we let you go, update on the totals. I'm going to hit the refresh button again here. We're at 446,415. We are at 513 individual donors. Jared, we have blown past the 500 donor mark. This is incredible. Just a lot of anonymous donations coming in, but we've also had donations from Rachel Boone Smith, track and field, Don Lukes, Karen Ritter. Thank you all. And thanks to all the folks that have donated so far today. Mackenzie, Sydney, I know you've had a very long day. We're going to let you go. But thank you both for joining us. And we wish you all the best of luck this Friday in your next game and also through the rest of the season.
Thank you. We appreciate you guys.
Absolutely. Thanks so much.
Thanks, guys.
Sydney Parrish and Mackenzie Holmes joining us here on the day of giving as we continue on here. There we go. That's better. It's like,
Galen, you wanted a million, or not? Sorry, yeah, $1 million. Right?
I want $1 million. Yes.
If we double that, we're close.
Yeah,
we'll go with that.
We're very close. We're almost to the point where if you double the amount, you're at 900,000. We're at 446 right now. If we get to 450, we're going to be at $900,000 towards IU NIL through Hoosiers Connect today, which is amazing. Stick with us, folks. We got about 50 people watching on the live stream. Don't go anywhere because we believe Miller Kopp will be joining us here. Well, how about that?
Look at that.
Some tremendous timing as Miller Kopp. Yes, you're live, Miller. I was going to put you in the green room, but I spoke you into existence on the broadcast here. Miller Kopp, ladies and gentlemen, back by popular demand. Miller, thanks for joining us here. Yeah.
Well, I appreciate it. Good to be on, and I'm glad I got thrown in the fire because that's how I like it.
So Miller, first of all, update the people. Where are you right now? What are you up to?
So I've been a little MIA lately. Been bouncing around. But right now, currently, I'm in Oklahoma City. I'm playing for the Oklahoma City Blue, the Thunder G League team, and I'm super excited. Have an amazing opportunity here with them, and so that's where I'll be for the next couple months, and yeah.
So let's talk a little bit about NIL. You were one of the top users of NIL from a content perspective. You really jumped full force into this when you got to IU. You're one of the most visible athletes on the team last year, obviously. What's that meant for you as someone who came into college when NIL was not a thing? You've watched it kind of evolve. First of all, what are your thoughts on it overall? And second, what was it that made you jump in so fully into NIL right at the beginning?
Well, first off, I loved it. I think it was only a matter of time. And I think that the more, people buy into it, more people, lean into it, the better it's going to be for everybody, for fans, for players, for teams, for the NCAA. And, honestly, for me, it was about, maximizing my potential as a person and not just a player, as somebody who can, with NIL, kind of explore different areas of interest for me. So for me, it was about, showing my personality to people, showing my humor and the team and, things that people, didn't get to see normally, but with me and what I was kind of showing at times, with whether it was videos or whether it was, t-shirts, like that was my way of connecting with fans, connecting with people who wanted to connect with me, but maybe couldn't before. And so it was really cool. And it's still, been such a benefit for me, even as I've graduated, which I didn't think was going to be the case, but it is like I've been able to reap the benefits, even past since I've, graduated, just because of the extra, I want to say, involvement that and connection that I was able to have with fans, with Indiana alum, and just everybody, in the family.
Miller, one of the objections that you often hear from some fans who may not be as supportive of NIL, or it's taken them a little bit longer to come around on it, is, they think it's a distraction or it's going to lead you guys to focus on the wrong things. And yet you were able to go out and have the most successful season of your career while building your Primal brand and, oh my God, doing TikTok videos. What do those who object to NIL and college athlete brand building not understand about how it all works in practice?
Well, I could go on about this one, right? Because I obviously, you do things and when you put yourself out there, right, with whether it's, playing the game of basketball, you're opening yourself up to being vulnerable, to missing a shot, to turning the ball over, to slipping and falling on your face, like getting dunked on. Like that's part of the game, right? And you're opening yourself up to vulnerability. Like you're being vulnerable on the court is how I see it. And with, the NIL opportunities that I kind of saw, is like I was vulnerable and was open about myself, about the team, about showing kind of the stuff that I was experiencing every day that made, college basketball special, in my opinion, from a player's perspective. The bus rides, the locker room dances, the music, everything like that. Like those are the things that I remember, along with the wins, along with the ups and the downs. You kind of, you forget sometimes the win or the loss, but you remember the bus ride. Like for some reason, I remember the bus ride after we beat Purdue, at Purdue last year. It's like that bus ride back, like nobody was on their phones. We were just blasting music and talking and laughing and joking. Like I guarantee you, everybody on the team remembers that bus ride maybe more than they remember the scout. Like, and that's just the way it is. And so for me, it was about sharing those experiences and being open with that, about having those, because it's not, guys are 18, 19, 20, like if you're scared to show some personality, if you're scared to kind of step out of the box, that's going to, in my opinion, that's going to spread and permeate into other areas in terms of basketball. Like if I have enough, let's just say cojones to take a shot, with 5 seconds down on the shot clock, like I should be able to post a video and not be worried about it and not be scared about it. Right. Or I should be able to make a t-shirt to be able to connect with some fans and have somebody support me and support them. Sorry about that.
You're a busy man.
Yeah, sorry. No. But for me, it was about understanding that it's bigger than what some people make it out to be in terms of it could be a distraction, right? Because these things happen, whether you see it or not, right? And now what I kind of did was open the door and say, hey, like, this is what's going on. Like, this is what we do. We joke around. We have fun. No team, I believe, is ever going to be good if they're like robots and they're serious all the time, And so for me, it was about, showing the both sides of the coin.
I'd love to know more about where the videos came from, where that idea came from. This is a multi-part question. What did you use that opportunity when you did those videos to try and get some of the guys out of their shells on the team? And then lastly, what did Coach Woodson think, or did he even watch any of your videos?
Well, I think what was great, I'll answer the last question first, is I don't think he ever really knew, which was great, which was like, I didn't want any of that anyways. But I will say his wife and his daughter, especially, were aware and they loved him. So that was all I needed to know. Like if they loved him, hey, I was good. And, for me, I kind of started that because I'm a big, I love memories. I love, pictures and videos. I've always found myself admiring, things that happen and wanting to capture the times that people necessarily don't, think are special until it's gone. Right. And so part of my reasoning for doing that, and, whether it was the TikToks or the funny videos or, stuff like that, is like finding a way to open up and connect with my teammates. Right. Because, like you said, is like kind of help them get out of their shells, or kind of get, be more open in terms of, being open to the public, which isn't our natural inclination. But it kind of gave me an opportunity to kind of nudge some guys to be like, you know what, like, yeah, I'll get in the video, or I'm doing it, or I'm doing something. They're like, hey man, let me say something, like stuff like that, to where it kind of just brings guys, actually closer. There was never any times where it was like, nah, like chill out, like stop, because I know right and wrong times and stuff like that. So it was all at the end of the day, I really thought it brought us closer together and gave us some really good memories.
I have a numbers update for everybody as we continue on here. I'd like to congratulate Hoosier Nation. We're at $454,015 donated today, which with the 100% match, means we're over the $900,000 mark for Indiana NIL today. Jared, play the sound effect. Come on. Oh, he's got it muted. We can't hear it, unfortunately.
No.
Sorry, I was muted. Here, we'll go again. Sorry.
All right,
Sorry. I had noise in the background here.
But we got some more donations in. 523 unique donors today. Miller, I mean, I'm guessing that this isn't a surprise for you, given what you've experienced in terms of the passion of the IU fan base. But you hear numbers like that, on a day like today, where IU's, Hoosiers Connect managed to put together this amount of donations towards NIL. I mean, what are your thoughts?
Well, first off, it's amazing. Like I'm glad to still be a part of it, and glad to see it's growing. Like, I've always known that, Hoosier Nation and supporters and fans and people part of the family, like they really, really do care. And now, with NIL, there's a time to, be able to show their support and kind of, and I don't want to say like, you know, it allows people, I believe, to give in a different way, right? Because sometimes that, you know, you can't cheer when you don't have games, right? So how do you still support when, you know, you're not playing games, when in the off season, or like, you know, there's a certain impact now that people can have, a direct impact that people can have on, you know, Indiana athletics and players. And, you know, that's going to have a, like I said, like a direct impact into, you know, people's and players' lives, but also the program, I believe, as well.
All right, Miller, I have a fundraiser idea that I want to run past you, get your thoughts on it. If we allowed all IU fans to donate a certain amount per 3-point attempt, would the team take more? Because I feel like we might be able to raise like $10 million in 5 minutes.
Sorry.
Well, I think if I was playing, I think we'd have a problem, because
what's the most attempts you've had in a game? I'm curious.
Most attempts?
Yeah, most 3 attempts in a game. What's the number for you?
I don't know. Maybe 12, 13.
That's less than I thought, actually.
Not bad, right? Not bad.
Wow. No, that's pretty conservative on your part.
Yeah, we had a game last night for the Blue. I had 11. Okay, so I'm getting them up. I'm getting them up.
Very nice.
I like that idea.
We should try it. What serious question for you. You know, you have come from a family of college athletes. I'm curious, not just for you, but your family, your brothers. What has NIL meant to you guys?
Oh, it's awesome. Like I'm super blessed, because I was able to, and still I'm able to do things with my brothers and connect with them in terms of in ways that I wasn't able to before. You know, for example, I know you know, I have an amazing story. Like I at least for me, is, and I made a video about it, is I was surprised. My brother, you know, had his first spring college football game. And so this is when he went to Colorado, I think last year. And so I went and surprised him. I was on the phone with him on, like, I want to say Wednesday, and we had a workout on Thursday because we were in the off season, and, you know, we were off Friday, Saturday, Sunday, you know, come back Monday to work. And I was on the phone with him on Wednesday. You know, he's like, yeah, we got a game, you know, our little spring game on Friday. And I was like, oh, okay, cool. And as soon as I got off the phone, I checked flights. And because I was like, man, like, I got this whole weekend, like, I might as well just, you know, try to go see him after my workout or after practice. And, you know, because of NIL, I had the freedom and the ability to do that. And so my mom and my dad and my older brother were going as well, but they didn't know I was going. So I ended up getting there early, surprising all of them, and being able to spend the weekend with them before, you know, we got into the long season where I only saw them, you know, 3 or 4 times throughout the year. So, you know, it's probably more than that, but, like, I mean, you get the point. So I was able to, you know, on a whim say, you know what, like, yeah, flight to Colorado, you know, 2 days notice, probably more expensive than it should be. But, like, I know I have, you know, this NIL opportunity, and we'll have it throughout the year, hopefully. And I want to do this. I want to be able to experience this and spend time with my family and support my brother and support my family. And so for me, it was you know, an amazing opportunity to be able to do things you know, that I wouldn't normally have been able to do, or wouldn't even have thought to do.
Miller, I'll update you. Your career high in 3-point attempts in college was 10, and then you've done 11 now in back-to-back games with the Blue. So or sorry, that's 11 field goal attempts. 11 in your last game with the Blue that's your high now. So you're trending upward.
Trending very high upwards. Yes.
You had 10 in a game as a Northwestern Wildcat. Your career high as a Hoosier was 9.
Wow.
Couldn't quite crack that double-digit number.
You bring up a really good point, though, Miller, and it's something I think that it's a misconception about NIL and college athletes. I mean, the ability to have a little bit of financial freedom to do things that a lot of people take for granted. Yeah. You know, and especially, you know, I think so many college sports fans they either went to college themselves, they're in upper income brackets. there's a lot of people playing college athletics who, yes, they might be on scholarship, but they don't necessarily have a lot of spending money floating around. And NIL has made, and we've heard it today from Philip Bleedy, from Aaron Casey, from others, that impact of just having a little bit of extra money, based upon the rights that all other college students have had forever to capitalize on their right of publicity, is such a huge thing. And I don't think that people quite grasp like how much of an impact even a little bit can have.
Well, absolutely. I think, it allows, I think, people to, and student athletes to have the, like an appetizer into, I don't want to say the real world, but the real world, right? In terms of planning, in terms of spending, in terms of saving, in terms of if you want to start a business, what that looks like, and all those different things. And so, with my, NIL opportunities, I was able to, continue to, save and learn about expenses and how much I'm spending and how much I'm saving and kind of what that looks like. And be able to set up myself, a system of like, okay, I've got this coming in or these opportunities, but again, I have to work for them, and that was a big thing for me as well. Like I didn't expect anything that I didn't think I was worth. And so that was a huge thing for me that I definitely, took pride in, because I knew that, whether it was with my brand or personal brand or, just the way I conducted myself, on or off the court, like, I knew I was, people knew what they were getting from me. I hope so.
Miller, you obviously played a lot of college basketball, a lot of different teams, saw it pre-NIL, saw post-NIL. I'm curious, if a new college coach, never coached in college before, came to you and said, Miller, I'd love some advice on how do we make sure that NIL is a positive for our program, isn't something that ends up being divisive or distraction, any of that stuff. What kind of advice would you give to a coach about kind of how to set things up and how to frame it?
Well, that's a good question. So what I would do is I'd tell him, I say, let me think. I don't want to just jump into this one. I don't want to mess this program up for him.
Hypothetical program. I mean, if it goes on probation,
I'm taking this program serious. This program's got the potential to win a national championship. So I'm not, I want to make sure I'm giving great advice to this coach. But no, I would say, making sure that there's a level of understanding between players and coach, and how that relates to, whatever NIL opportunities there are. I'd say if there's an understanding between, the head honcho, the coach, I would say you need to let the players know that this is one thing and this is the other. Like this is basketball and this is NIL, and they both play a part in life, right? You can't have, in college, you can't have both be the main thing, right? I would say, look, the main thing has to stay the main thing, but I'm here as a coach to give you the opportunities to explore different areas of interest. I would give the information and connections to players and say, hey, like, this is what we have. We've got these donors. I've got these buddies who, do this and do that. Like, hey, I see, one of my players is interested in fashion. I see one of my players is interested in music. Like, this is it. I would explain it and tell this coach, hypothetical coach, that if the players understand it's more about a intro into life, then they will have a better understanding going forward of how to conduct themselves, how to maximize those opportunities. Because if they want to do well in the NIL space, they're going to have to be a stand-up guy, a stand-up person, in my opinion. And so, as in life, I feel like it's the same thing. So that's kind of where I'd start with this hypothetical coach.
That's a great answer. And it was a tough one. It puts you on the spot there. So I appreciate that. Last question for you. We all expect you to have a very long, productive professional career. Have you thought at all about coaching once you get done?
I've thought about it. I've definitely thought about it. I love the game, and I've studied it more than I've studied anything, more than school, way more than school. So it's definitely what I know best, by far. It's what I think about more than most things. What I watch. It's what I, am always thinking about. I'm calling our assistant coaches, asking them, watching, our team practice and all this stuff, right? I've thought about it, but I'm not sure if or when it'll happen ever, but it's definitely been on my mind, and I've talked to Woody about it before too, and he's got some thoughts on it, but leave that there for now.
I like everything about that.
I don't know if that's AI, but I need that as like my ringtone.
We gotta do things with urgency.
Sure, it's loaded
I'll
over
stop
there.
now.
Watch out.
I haven't heard that in a while.
I think you need to just burn him a playlist of nothing
Yeah,
but Woody clips. I mean, that's just make that happen.
It's taking me back right now.
There you go. That's a great place to stop, I think. Miller, first of all, we really appreciate you taking the time. You came in, you made a big mark on the program, and we appreciate you being a part of Hoosier Nation now and forever, and everything you did, and really being one of the trailblazers in the NIL space. And I think, days like today that Hoosiers Connect was able to put on are really due to the work that folks like you did to kind of, make this more normal in an era where people were still trying to figure that out. So we just appreciate not just the time today, but everything you've done for the program over the last couple of years.
Thank you. That means a lot. And I tell people every day, like school or whatever it is, I always say proudly Indiana. And I'm a Hoosier for life, and extremely, extremely blessed and grateful to be a Hoosier. And I always want to make that clear, and I'm very, very lucky to be a part of the family.
Well, we look forward to having you on next time. We want to do another one of these sometime soon, and hopefully we'll be able to talk you back into coming in and joining us. So, Miller Kopp, good luck with the rest of your season, and we'll look forward to seeing you hopefully again here in Bloomington sometime soon.
Awesome. Thank you, guys.
All right.
Thank you, Miller.
Miller Kopp joining us here on the show, and we'll go ahead and let him go and finish up the program. All you folks that have joined throughout the day, Miller's flashing the guns here as he leaves the stage.
He could go into coaching, but he could also go into either media or content creation and have a great career ahead of him.
I feel this is maybe if college basketball game day needed a Pat McAfee character, I think you just plot Miller Kopp on that set. We're good to go across the board. So, but thanks to Miller for joining us here. And guys, it's been a long day. It's been a great day. This has been an experiment to a large degree. And, it's been fascinating to watch the outpouring of support and donations from across Hoosier Nation. We've talked about that throughout the course of the day, but it really does matter in a fascinating and important way. I mean, we all, in whatever we do in our roles as content creators or influencers or broadcasters, and Austin's all of those things, we see the impact.
I don't know about influencer, but...
Well, you're. I think you got more influence than you think, but we've seen the impact that NIL's had. I think we all saw it coming down the pike pretty early, and it's been, to me, very exciting, very gratifying to watch Indiana University, develop its NIL game so strongly from the beginning. It makes such a big difference. It's allowed Indiana to kind of swim with the sharks again in a lot of recruiting, and in some sports where it hasn't been able to in the past, Indiana's a player at the table. And everybody, if you spend any time watching any of these shows that we've done today, if you've taken the time to donate, we know you're IU fans. We know you want to see IU succeed, and it's just exciting to see all of this come together. And a day like today, to have this much success, I think is just a testament to the passion of Hoosier Nation and the system that IU's been able to set up, and that what Hoosiers Connect and Hoosiers for Good have been able to do.
And one thing I'll add while we allow some more donations to get in here and eventually give you a final total, Galen, you spent a lot of time thanking everybody else for their involvement. Let me just take a moment and thank you for everything that you did behind the scenes to set this up, because people won't know, but you did a ton to get this set up from a technical standpoint, from a scheduling standpoint. And so thank you for doing that, because it helped make this event what it was.
I appreciate that. No, it's amazing. You know, my thing is I really enjoy working with all the folks that have been on the shows today, and I love seeing athletes get a chance to express themselves. And you know, I like anybody else. You know, I work for IU. I also cover IU, but I want to see IU be successful ultimately. I think that's the case with everybody that we've had on today. And so it's been a pleasure and a joy, and it's been great working with all you folks, and your willingness to donate your time's meant a lot to me. So thank you. I appreciate it, Jared.
Absolutely.
Jared beat me to it, but I will say I remember my grandpa always having a really hard time wrapping his head around the fact that people want to pay athletes. He was like, that doesn't make any sense. I don't understand. And I said, Grandpa, it's coming, and Indiana's going to be one of the first ones to do it, because they're getting stuff set up, and Indiana was ready for it. And they are doing an incredible job putting these athletes in position to succeed in the NIL landscape. And in the way that puts the coaches in a position to succeed in recruiting. And so all of that is a domino effect that Indiana was ready for, and they were one of the first people to push down that first domino. And
look, this is the beginning. This is not the end. And I think, Austin, you summed up something that I've been trying to say for a long time, which is that IU fans, largely because of Bob Knight, but also just because of the general culture of IU athletics, have been very focused on doing things by the rules. And then the rules changed. And you know, the fact that IU jumped in with both feet and said, we want to be a leader in this, and the IU fan base said, we want to be a leader in this. You know, there's unnamed programs across certain rivers that everybody's pointed to and said, well, why do they get to do things this way? Well, Indiana gets to do things the way that they are now. And I think Hoosier Nation has proven today and throughout the course of these last 2 years that they are more than up to the challenge. And that is really exciting. And it's something I think we all thought was going to be the case. We want to wrap up with a couple of things here real quick. There's a bunch of people we want to thank, and I hope I don't leave anybody out. It's been a huge effort across the board. First of all, a big thanks to the person that texted us all originally about getting together on a meeting, and that was Jeremy Gray, Associate Athletic Director, got all the influencers together and with Hoosiers Connect and said, let's do something here that's different. And wow, did it turn into something different and successful? All of the IU social media influencers, and you know, there's far too many for us to count. Jared, I'm going to leave a bunch of people out, but we had Sammy Jacobs from Hoosier Huddle on earlier. You know, Alex at Inside the Hall has been a part of helping to retweet some of these things. Crimson Quarry has been part of the process. You know, Hoosier Ticket Project's been part of the project. Martha the Mop Lady. Who am I leaving out, Jared? Give me some other names here.
Pro Football Hoosiers for sure. There are a bunch of people on Peegs helping us today, you know, kind of keep the running tally going, all that. And just to thank you to all of our community members. I mean, that's what makes an event like this what it is so many individuals rallying around and sharing it with 3 people and sharing it with 5 people and spreading the word that way. So, I mean, there was just a ton of that happening today, and that's so helpful.
Jared and I got a chance to work very closely with 2 amazing people at Hoosiers Connect, Allie Ricker and Maria Gentry, who really helped facilitate so many things and help to make this the day that it was. And we're certainly very grateful to them for all of their assistance through things. A big thanks to Andrew Brown, who manages the tech over at the Cuban Center, helped to get all of our stuff earlier on today up and running. Big thanks to the whole sports information staff. I mean, Jeff Kaag, Megan Cramper, Jared Rigdon, Charlie Duffy, Greg Campbell, Chelsea. I mean, we've got that whole list of people over in sports information that helped us get the athletes where they needed to be so that we could get them on air, helped us to kind of make sure that the timetables worked. We had class schedules to work around, practice schedules, but everybody ended up where they needed. I'm sure I left a couple people off there. I apologize if I did.
Austin Coates is the men's soccer SID. So
Thank you.
Him in there too.
Yeah, absolutely.
And Jeremy Gray as well.
And Jeremy, who kind of oversees the whole operation over there. Over at the media school, Mike Gray and Jay Kincaid for helping with the original tech setup, Alan Major for all of his help with the tech setup for the Cuban Center, and Glenn Hicks and the whole C228 staff who helped to run that whole tech. A lot of those kids are freshmen and sophomores, and they were running the board.
They did a great job.
They did an amazing job over there. All of our behind-the-scenes folks, Emily Fox, who's a freshman, has been with us through all 5 sessions today. She's done amazing work. Emma Watson's been with us, helped with all of the setup, has been with us for the final 3 sessions of the day behind the scenes right now. They did amazing work. And then all of Alex Paul, who I didn't want to forget, did an amazing job coming up with visuals, all the graphic overlays that we had for things. And then finally, all of our on-air folks. Earlier on today, Trisha Whitaker, who came in and did an amazing job. Kara Adams, who was with us throughout the course of the day. Griffin Gonzalez, who came in and anchored that whole hour-long segment in the middle. Austin, Jared, I mean, both of you guys did amazing work. It was great to work with all of you.
So. It really was a ton of fun to be a part of this, and I just really enjoyed. I feel like I know these athletes that came on here a little bit better than I did at the start of the day. So
yes.
I know that Sydney Mazer has a nut allergy and she's lactose intolerant, so she has a specific ice cream brand and she wants an NIL partnership. So if that ice cream brand is listening, get with Sydney. We learned a lot about Taylor Swift in a concert there. It just was a really cool thing to be a part of.
It was a lot of fun. Jared, any final thoughts before we wrap up?
Just to piggyback on what Austin said, I mean, it's one of my favorite parts about NIL is just having more opportunities to get to know the athletes as people. It's so easy to fall into this trap of just seeing these 2-dimensional figures on your TV screen, especially when you live away from Bloomington like I do. And so to be able to have these opportunities and really start to learn, kind of get a 360-degree view of these, athletes as people, as students, and all their many different dimensions, it makes cheering for them and following them more rewarding. And it's a constant reminder of their humanity, which I think is always important, for fans who can get so caught up in the wins and losses. But this is what makes following a college program special. And now to have more shared investment in that, I just don't see it as anything other than a good thing. And so it was really proud for me to be able to participate in something like this because I really believe in it. So just a really good day, first of many, hopefully.
I echo that entirely. We're going to leave you with the following numbers, our final tally for the day. 539 total donors, which is amazing work. For a total of $458,220. And when you match that 100%, which we've been talking about throughout the course of the day, that's $916,440 towards Indiana NIL. Everybody give yourselves a big round of applause. That is tremendous. Awesome. The best news, folks, is that it doesn't have to end right now. You can donate throughout the rest of the day. The day of giving doesn't end until 11:59 p.m., and I would actually say 11:59 p.m. Pacific time for those of you on the West Coast. So if you're watching some of this after the fact, go ahead, go to inforindiana.com and go donate. Whatever it is, $5, that's fine. $5,000, we've had both of those. We've had the full gamut of donations. We just had a $500 offline donation come in. They continue to roll in. The match goes up to $1 million, and it lasts through the end of the calendar year. So if you're watching this after the fact, if it's like Thanksgiving and you're like, I finally got a chance to sit down and watch the NIL streams, and you're like, wow, can I still donate and get that match? Yes, you can, folks. Yes, you can. All the way up to $1 million. You can go to Hoosiers Connect website. You can keep track of where things at. You can see the different membership levels if you want to donate. You can set up recurring donations. Head over there whenever you can and think about donating to help support Indiana NIL and keep IU NIL strong. Yes, Jared.
Think of 3 people, 3 friends who maybe aren't in the Indiana content, space and might have missed these. 3 friends to send it to. Send them the In for Indiana link. Let them know that's how to support. If everybody does that, that is going to help us get to that goal. And that's a pretty easy thing to do. So if you want to take that next step, think of 3 people that you think might not have heard the messages today, send it to them and encourage them to participate.
If the 530 donors do that, that's 1,600 people that would get to see this. So, and I would imagine there's more than 530 plus people that have watched this today. So keep passing it along and keep donating.
Indiana University has the 2nd largest living alumni base in the country.
That's right.
Let's show them what that means, folks. Yeah, okay, right. Send it out to friends, send it out to relatives, send it out to people that went to school that you know. Let's get everybody to donate even a little bit. It goes double until the end of the year, and every little bit goes a long way. All right, we're going to wrap it up now. Again, my thanks to the entire crew over at Hoosiers Connect. Our thanks to the entire crew at IU Athletics, the entire crew at the media school. For Austin Render, for Jared Morris, I'm Galen Clavio saying thanks again for joining us, folks. We had a blast. We hope you did as well. We'll catch you folks on the flip side. So long, everybody.